Good afternoon, I'm Spencer Chiak, and this is South Texas Midday. Today's Wednesday, May 13th, 2026. The Corpus Christi City Council is one vote away from officially changing the Drought Contingency Plan. In a 7-2 vote, the council had approved adding surcharges for all Corpus Christi water customers. At-large Councilwoman Carolyn Vaughn and District 3 Councilmember Eric Cantu dissented the changes. While the amount of water is different for each group, the surcharges follow the same pattern of an initial $4 surcharge followed by an $8 surcharge after reaching a higher level. The amount of water used for businesses, industry, and wholesale customers would be individually assigned, along with a baseline defined by monthly usages from 2022 to 2024. The proposed changes would require all large volume water users to pay surcharges, and not just those not paying into the voluntary surcharge exemption fee of an additional 31 cents per 1,000 gallons used. That fee has raised around $6 million a year for water projects, according to the city. The City Council will hold a second vote on the changes next week to confirm it. More than 40,000 pregnant Texans waited longer than a month for the state to process their Medicaid application. KERA's Abigail Ruman reports advocates worry that could delay prenatal care.
State data released by the advocacy organization Texans Care for Children shows almost 24,000 people waited more than 60 days for their Medicaid application to be processed. Diana Forrester is the organization's director of health policy. She says delays in prenatal care can lead to worse health outcomes for the parent and the child.
If there is a lack of access to quality care for a subset of Texans, that's something that affects all of us.
Forrester says people can also encounter delays once their application is processed because of issues accessing appointments. I'm Abigail Ruman in Dallas.
A New Garland business may have to cover up a mural of the Virgin of Guadalupe weeks after it was painted. KERA's Priscilla Rice reports.
La Esquinita Panaderia y Taqueria owner Jamie Zamora says she was surprised when her landlord told her the mural would need to be removed. She says she and her husband submitted the art rendering to the building's manager for approval months before the restaurant opened last week. Zamora says the Virgin of Guadalupe, known as the patron saint of the Americas, has deep cultural meaning.
A staple of safety and a community, and I feel like that shouldn't be taken away from us.
She is waiting for an update from the landlord on what the next steps are for the mural. KERA reached out to the building's owners but did not hear back. I'm Priscilla Rice in Dallas.
Living in the United States is becoming less affordable. A study by the Urban Institute found people are struggling to pay for essentials like food, childcare, and housing. Wages aren't keeping up with rising costs, and affordability concerns are spreading beyond traditional expensive regions. Take Texas, which has historically been considered a more affordable place to live. The U.S. Census Bureau data released earlier this year show the state's housing costs have outpaced income growth, leaving some Texans in a tough spot financially. This is a complex problem, but one area of hope is adult education programs. Those programs can help people increase their ability to earn as prices rise. The Texas Standard's Sarah Ash has more.
In a packed auditorium at Austin Community College's Eastview campus, Suha Kabakli addresses students being inducted into the National Adult Education Honor Society.
I made a choice. I will pursue my future with determination. I will not let anything hold me back. Not a second later.
In 2010, when she was 17, Palestinian refugee Kabakli moved from Iraq to Austin with no high school diploma in tow. Schooling wasn't so easy for her in Texas either.
I was bullied a lot for not speaking English, for wearing scarf. What I wasn't expecting was to be that much.
She dropped out after 3 months, got married, had 2 kids, and then in 2021, she decided to get her GED so she could have a career of her own.
My husband, he told me, go to school. Don't just be at home. Don't wait for anybody to do things for you. You fight for yourself.
People get GEDs with a variety of career goals: electrician, mortician, EMS, paralegal. But one commonality is that their earning potential goes up when they get the certificate. Sharon Bonney, CEO of the Coalition on Adult Basic Education, says improving educational outcomes for adults is one way to combat the affordability crisis.
There have been studies done that show for every dollar given to adult education, there's a $60 return to the economy because it helps them to get a better job.
A better job means people pay more taxes and have more money to buy consumer goods. They are also less likely to need public assistance, according to Literacy Pittsburgh CEO Carrie Harris.
If any, they become much more self-sufficient, and that pays dividends for all of us.
Harris says historically, adult education enrollment has increased when the economy slows down. This is true not just for GED classes, but also workforce training certifications.
Because people need to upskill to get back in the job market and be competitive. Also, because these programs are free for the most part, this is a way to get upskilled without investing, money.
Kabakli says the free classes she can access at Austin Community College after completing her GED was one draw to continuing her education. Her goal is to become a radiologist because of the job prospects, and she also likes the opportunity for continuing education within the field.
In radiology, you keep growing, and there is no stop to it.
Austin Community College receives money from the federal government to help fund programs like the one Kabakli is in. These dollars have been uncertain in recent months. President Trump proposed deep cuts in his 2026 budget proposal, though Congress did reject them. And when you look at the numbers, it's hard to argue with the value of adult education. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, people with a high school diploma earn about $10,000 more a year than those without. Adult education can be a long road, but Austin Community College Adult Education Dean Kathy Dowdy says it offers students a way forward.
They need a place to come and to have hope, and that's us. I always think about Wizard of Oz and Dorothy, and you always had the power to do it, and they've just come to us to discover that.
Kabakli is on that long road now, taking classes online. Her hope for her daughter is the same message she shared with her fellow adult ed students at ACC.
I want to be a living example for her. I'm fighting for it, and I'm not going to stop fight for it until I get it.
At the moment, that fight looks like an English composition course and elementary statistics. I'm Sarah Ash in Austin.
Finally, Texas is the nation's second largest crawfish producer, behind Louisiana. Despite a slow start to crawfish season this year, due to a late freeze, Texas farmers brought in a plentiful harvest, as the state had its warmest winter on record since 1895. Houston Public Media's Natalie Weber tells us these warmer winters have caused a shift in when crawfish farmers begin their season.
Wearing a camouflage wetsuit, long rubber boots, and a baseball cap, Christian Burns steers his fishing boat into a rice field in Anahuac, about an hour east of Houston. He's working for his cousin, who owns a crawfish farm here. Burns is harvesting roughly 20 sacks of crawfish daily, enough to feed up to 200 people. He says the harvest in any given year really depends on the weather.
Warmer weather means we're able to catch more crawfish just because they're more active. Once the water gets below 50, they don't really do a whole lot of moving around and feeding.
As Burns fishes, he dumps the mud bugs, or crawfish, into a tray on his boat. Once it's full, he scrapes the red crustaceans into large mesh sacks. While some of the crawfish will go to a restaurant on the farm, the rest will be sold and cooked at seafood boils and businesses across Texas.
Okay, so these are our boilers. Okay, they're custom made, stainless steel in Louisiana.
Dominic Mandola is the owner of the Ragin' Cajun restaurant in Houston. He says crawfish season has been plentiful this year. That's due in part to the warmer weather. When there's a freeze, he says that slows down the harvest.
There's been some times where we ran out of crawfish on Fat Tuesday throughout the last 50 years because of the freeze.
But while milder winters can help kickstart crawfish season, hotter summers can hurt the harvest. That's what happened 2 years ago, after triple-digit temperatures in the summer and a drought killed off crawfish before the winter fishing season. Mandola says that was unusual. Warmer winters are becoming more common in Texas, according to Assistant State Climatologist B.J. Bowley.
Texas winter temperatures have generally been warming up over time, over the last several decades, particularly since about the 1980s.
Nikki Fitzgerald is a coastal and marine county resources agent with Texas A&M AgriLife. She says as Texas winters have gotten warmer, she's seen a shift in when crawfish season begins.
Now you're starting to see crawfish in December and January. In the early 90s and stuff, crawfish season typically would start at the beginning of March. And as people have really started enjoying crawfish, it's, the warmer seasons have actually encouraged the fishermen to get out quicker.
Back in East Texas, Christian Burns says there were only 3 months over the last year where his cousin's farm didn't harvest any crawfish.
We're working on building more fields, so we're ever expanding.
And as the farm grows, he says they're getting closer to figuring out how to fish year-round. I'm Natalie Weber in Houston.
This has been South Texas Midday. I'm Spencer Chiak. Your community arts calendar and more is on its way next.